Beautiful hearts, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Loren Gailey, and I am so excited to present this experience today. It's a masterclass with Jules Arnes, and Jules is a beautiful, pioneering spirit in the field of DNA and actually what we can do to become bioquantum. She does extraordinary work and she's connected to the inner dimensions, the higher realms, which constantly provides information to her I am presence, which she shares with all of us. I want to welcome Jules Arnes. Thank you, Jules, for being here. How are you?
I am so amazing, and it's just an honor to spend this time. I always enjoy just the frequencies that you bring and the container that you hold. So I just want to honor you in that, and I'm just so excited to be here.
Awesome. So we're going to let you offer this experience. But there's someone new, Astra. Tell us.
Astrolema, yes. So, yeah, for those of you that have been with me for a while or maybe seen some past interviews on New Earth One, I last July I had the Astrolema come in and actually tell me who they are and kind of the whole journey. So they've actually been with me my entire life since I was 5 is the first time I actually remember. And I always called them the blue beings. And so they've been with me. They are the ones that gave me the technology that's turning on the higher operating system or the 12 strand DNA system. They have always been a part of my healings and a part of my work. And, I've always had, it's funny when you go back and you kind of see it all once it's already happened, especially when you have this last piece that kind of comes in and puts the bow on top of it all. But when I was going through it, I didn't have any idea that everything was being dictated through them. It was because it was just channeled in or it was given or through my friend Rob and my friend Vale. I had all these different ways that I was given this information. And so in July, the Blue Men came and they said, well, you did it, right? You did everything that we asked you to do. You did all of the steps to turn on the higher operating system. It is fully running in you. And so the way they were showing it is that all 12 strands have to be activated. And it's almost as if it's like a prompting system, just like we would use a technology like a computer. You can tap in and certain codes start to activate and upgrades the body into having a certain experience. And then once that is fully active and all of the technologies of each strand are activating and there's have ascended the different aspects of the body, we move into a completely different DNA system, which is actually in the mitochondria. So they were waiting for that to activate in me so that they could transmit their words through my DNA. And by being able to do that, it can transmit through the DNA of others that listen. So it's kind of like it's happening both. And that's why what their work is so powerful when they're turning these things on is because the technologies are turning on in each person as they're speaking. So the frequencies are releasing from the DNA, it's attuning the body, and then consciousness is having the experience of what that is. And you can feel it when they're speaking. It's really exciting to kind of up level everything. And also on another level, it's kind of nice too to let this intelligence be kind of take over so that I can just kind of go to the sidelines. And yes, I show up and of course I do my job of allowing them to come through, but uh, it's just as exciting to me, some of the things that they communicate, because it's not me. It's literally an intelligence, and every time it blows me away. And so we'll do a little transmission today, but that's kind of who the Astrolema is. So Astrolema is a name that we have to speak, but their actual name is an equation. It's not even in English, it's a vibrational equation. So the way they work is they're called the divine architects of the DNA. And what they do is they release specific equations. So their language is releasing equations that is not quantified. They will actually use equations that can be quantified so that they can alter the particles of the body and of reality to move them into the next stage of human evolution. So they're doing this through the biology, through the DNA, and actually shifting particles of what we would call third dimension to fifth dimension, but it's all being done through the frequency of source through our DNA. So our DNA is the technology that is shifting our very reality. And so it's a lot of fun to witness what's possible when we get super specific and exact in the way that we're using not just quantum mechanics, but the mechanics of what they call the divine mechanics.
So fascinating, Jules, really. And I'm just so proud of you for taking this journey and having that clarity of the beings when they came to you. And again, I just want to comment on the blue men, right? The
Mhm.
blue beings. And that's just so, to me, that just strikes me so much. And it's all about the blue rays. We've talked about that before, but it's just so incredible, your entire journey. All right. So let's learn about BioAscension and mastering the divine healing technologies of the DNA. We're so looking forward to that. Thank you.
Of course, yes. So this is super exciting. For so there, the way the DNA is structured, of course, we are looking at the 12-strand DNA system, and that's not to limit that is to the extent of what our DNA is. It's just that each strand of DNA has very specific things that they are doing. For instance, the first strand of DNA is connected to the skin. The second strand is connected to the fascia. So it's actually ascending the different aspects of the body. So it goes all the way from organs to the nutrients to even the looping cycles. So even ascending our sleep patterns and the way that we breathe and the way that our two-strand biology is experiencing this dimension and bringing it into a 12-strand DNA system or a 12-strand DNA biology so that we are having the experience of the full operation of what our body is actually capable of. And each strand of DNA is also connected to an experience of consciousness. So our DNA actually has a mapping system of the ascension itself. And each strand has specific technologies. So there's not just one technology per strand, there's multiple technologies, but there's three basic technologies per strand. And one is the ascension of consciousness, one is the ascension of the body, and the third technology that's in each strand is the ability to basically shift reality. So it's not just altering the particles of the body, but also altering particles of reality. And so the way that Astroluma has brings these technologies through is to first activate consciousness and then it's to activate the body. And so that's what I would like to talk about today because, well, for those of you that know anything about me, I am obsessed with the ascension of the body and moving into the light body. And it's happening, right? We're all starting to experience different things. And I feel like this is kind of why right now is such a great time to really not just talk about it, but to do it, right? It's time to actually ascend the body. And that's what these technologies do. And so, what each technology does is it turns on frequencies that ascend the body out of just the two-strand DNA system into a 12-strand DNA biology. Well, what kind of things would that be? Look like? Well, some of them are instant healing, putting in the body outside of a timeline of aging. And also, it's, and this is where it gets really fun, it's the ability to actually kind of learn to shape shift within the body. And that could also be seen as anti-aging or healing even. So with the 12 technologies, the way that Astroluma works, and I know some of you that are on the call today have had this experience, and I definitely want to have the opportunity to have some people talk about what their experiences has been, because it's always fun to kind of hear about what other people's experiences are. But what they do is they go in and they activate the strand of DNA, and then they will activate the technology that is connected to it. So in this case, we're talking about the ascension of the body. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the first technology, just because that is the first strand of DNA, and it's connected to one, the life and death cycle. And then two, it's also connected to the skin. So I'm just going to take those two, for example, and kind of explain what the technology has the ability of doing. And maybe today we'll even activate the technology. We'll activate one of the technologies. So the skin as a technology are is a portal. So with the technologies that are in the DNA, everything is through expression, and that's the biggest thing that is kind of the hurdle of consciousness to get over, is that consciousness isn't doing anything here. It is just in the back seat having the experience, because the intelligence that is stored in our DNA, when it is turned on, and that intelligence is connected into one of these organic technologies, it dictates consciousness. It's because our consciousness can only go so far. And a lot of times we actually limit ourselves by where we can go consciously. But the other big shift in it is that because the technology is working on the DNA level, it's activating an intelligence of source that is stored there. It activates a specific mechanics of these technologies. And then it starts to alter the way that our body is operating. Our consciousness is just having the experience of that. Our consciousness is always in observation. And so when we are observing our body, or we are observing our reality, or even observing our thoughts, that it's the observation stage, though it is important because we want to have awareness, and that's always important. But what we do after awareness is we let the technologies turn on and start to show our consciousness what's we're capable, instead of our consciousness trying to do the work. Our consciousness is a tool, and the tool needs to be operated through our 12 strand DNA operating system, not the other way around. And that is one of the most fascinating things to experience, is to start to allow this higher intelligence that is really who we are, right? It's who we are in our highest potential, or in our organic state of being. We are source intelligence, and that intelligence is in our, it's everything is encoded in our DNA. And when we allow those technologies to start to activate, those technologies release the intelligence, then our consciousness is connected into that intelligence. And then all of a sudden, everything changes. Our perspective shifts, the way we see our body changes. And even more exciting is the way that our body actually operates begins to change. So, some of those ways is to start to see that our skin isn't something that we're just looking at. When we just look at our skin, and maybe it's, oh, I have this wrinkle, or oh, I have this owie, or whatever it is, we're naming it in the dimensional space of where we are. That we're naming it from the two-strand DNA system. And the problem with that is that our two-strand DNA system, or our two-strand DNA biology, is based on survival. Everything is operating to keep us alive. And we need that. That's great. In this dimension, it's that's what has kept our species evolving. But where we're going, and as we begin to move into the fifth dimension, those are going to stop being important because when we move into the 12 strand DNA system, the body is operating in a completely different space. And a lot of us can say that, well, it's heaven on earth. Well, it's heaven in the body, right? It's that too. And when we're in full expression of source, we're not in a vibrational frequency where we're looking to survive. And one of the ways that I like to kind of explain it is a basic human evolution. This is an organic step into the next stage of our evolution. It's already been encoded. It's a natural next step. Will we be there, in the next 10 years? I kind of feel like we're going to get really close to it because we're evolving so quickly. And once we start to kind of shift out of the two-strand DNA system and then we let this intelligence start to run us, things speed up even more. And we're already starting to see that in our reality. But if you like kind of trace back, and even just in people maybe that if somebody is living in survival mode, then they're not going to really be evolving. They're just looking at surviving. But when we put our bodies into a place where it starts to release these higher frequencies and we start to shift our focus from, am I going to survive, to how am I going to evolve? What is my highest potential? Consciousness starts to open up. And when consciousness starts to open up, it opens up the frequency of our body. And when the frequency of our body starts to open up or to raise, the 12 strand DNA system organically starts to turn on. And then we begin to hit those, for some of us, we call them downloads, or we start to question our reality. And one of the biggest questions I think that we've been kind of questioning for a long time is, are we supposed to age? Are we supposed to die? Is our body really supposed to go through a linear timeline? Well, in the two-strand DNA system, yes, that's part of what we do is we have a life experience, and then we die. And then a lot of us think that, believe that we come back and we do it again until we master all of our lessons. Well, I can say that that is the experience of the two-strand DNA system, but it is not the experience of the 12-strand DNA system. The 12-strand DNA system is something different. And part of that is to have the experience of not a linear timeline, but an ascension timeline. And so instead of having birth to death, it's we hit a certain point where we start to actually move up instead of linearly. And that's when we start to activate those 12 strand DNAs. They're all created. It is a mapping system. The first strand is activated, it's connected to the second strand, it's connected to the third and the fourth, and it literally becomes an ascension map, not just for consciousness, but for the body as well. So how is that? Like with the first activation of the skin, it is our first portal. It is the first thing that, when we look in the mirror, it is showing, has the ability to show us what's beyond just what we are seeing in the physical. And so I'm going to give you guys a little exercise that you can kind of play with, and we'll just do it right now too. But the skin, when we start to look at it through that ascension process, so if we're just looking at it through our eyes, that our programmed mind in this dimension, we're going to have whatever it's our brain is showing us. And I think what's really interesting is that science has already proven that what we see isn't actually through our eyes, but through our brain. And if our brain is plugged into a two-strand DNA operating system that's in an agreement with a timeline of what's supposed to happen when we're age, we're actually seeing what's been programmed. It's that they call it a matrix for a reason. And that's a big part of it. But it's not that we go in and reprogram the brain, because reprogramming the brain is just reprogramming the two-strand DNA system to see something different. It just becomes another matrix. What we want to do is plug in the way that our brain is operating into all 12 strands. so that it actually sees through the intelligence that's stored there. And then we start to see beyond the illusion. And a lot of us are having that experience right now. And some of those experiences are the downloads, it's our intuition, it's the ability to see what is beyond the material world, or to hear it, or to sense it. And one of the biggest senses that I think that a lot of us have is that deep feeling that I know I should be able to heal instantly. I know that I should be able to reverse aging. And it's not a knowing of the mind. It's like a knowing of the body. It's a deep-seated, soul-based knowing. And the reason that we feel like that is because it's true. It's because it is encoded in our DNA that that is the experience that we're here to have. And that's where we're going in the state of human evolution. So, what I'd like to do now, I'm just going to loop this one more place to that first strand, and then we'll do an activation with Astroluma. But the first strand, of course, we're just talking about the first strand here. The other coding system that is in the first strand of DNA is to activate the frequency that allows us to move from that looping cycle of life and death into an expression of source. And I'm going to go ahead and just tell the story just really quickly of the depth of what this is. So when our cells are observing our environment, and Dr. Bruce Lipton was, gosh, he's my hero. He really stuck through all of his research because he knew that the way the cells were operating wasn't just based on what we call genetics that are passed down. He discovered epigenetics. He showed that the environment that our cells pick up on will dictate whether or not an epigenetic code gets turned on, and then how it also can get turned off. Well, Dr. Sinclair has shown through his studies that aging is an epigenetic code, and it also can be turned off. We already have this. It's like out there for us to experience. But the next stage of evolution is that the cells move from observing the environment altogether. Right now, the cells are observing the environment because of what I said. We're only operating of 2 of 12. And the job of the first two strands of DNA, when they are only operating at just from 1 to 2, well, 1, life and death cycle. So if we're going to break the life and death cycle, we have to have the cell move from observing the environment into fully operating through this technology that we're going to just have the experience of turning on today. And so when the technology of the DNA is turned on, the cell no longer looks into the environment to be told what to do. It expresses an intelligence of source that is coded there. And so instead of observing and creating the life and death cycle, another way of saying that is observing through primal state of being, am I going to survive? And it starts to express the eternal code, what we're here to experience. And it all starts in that first strand of DNA. And I hope you feel that, because like even when I'm saying this, my whole body is lighting up because it remembers. It's like, I know this. And then that our mind, it wants to say, yeah, but I don't know how to do it. But our mind isn't going to be the one that does it. Our mind is the way that even the way our brain is operating, and this is also another reason we turn these technologies on, is that we let the intelligence that is encoded in our DNA, we turn on these technologies, and then the technologies start to work through our consciousness, not our mind, our consciousness, like the part of us that is aware that we are more than what we are experiencing, not the synapse responses and the neural pathways that have been created on a two-strand DNA system. So when we go into the mind and I don't know how to do that, I don't understand, let it go. let it go and just say, show me how this is possible. And what that does is it opens up our consciousness. It opens us up to this place of allowing that intelligence that's stored in our DNA to show us what it is. So it's the opposite of what we've been taught. Our consciousness isn't going to do it. Our mind isn't going to understand it and show us how. It's the intelligence that's stored inside of us that is going to lead the way. And that takes a lot of discipline, right? It takes a lot of discipline and a lot of trust because we are wired in that two-strand DNA system. And what that looks like is I want to understand it. I want the step by step of how I'm going to get there. I want to know that I'm not going to lose all my money. And I want to know that I'm going to make $1 million without doing anything. I'm totally kidding, but I mean, kind of not, because that's what the two-strand DNA system is. I want to have everything so that I feel safe. I know what I'm doing. I understand, and where we're going. It's not going to be that experience, but what it is when we start to turn on these technologies, we become shocked at what we're capable of. I did this sound bath a couple of weekends ago, and I was going in to take one of the bowls out of and it broke. Somehow it just like I pulled it out and it broke and it slit open my finger and blood was just gushing everywhere. And so one of the ladies went and got a Band-Aid. And so I got my bowls all set up and I was like, well, maybe I should just put on another Band-Aid. And I went to put another Band-Aid and the blood just started gushing down. So I was like, okay, I need to go into the bathroom and rewrap my hands so that I could do the bowl. And so as I'm walking in, I said, okay, activation of the first strand DNA technology, heal my fingers so that I can do this sound bath today. We get in and I unwrap the bandages that were on it and I go and put my hand under the water. And the lady that came in to help me with it was standing there. She was watching the whole thing. And I go to lift it up so that she can get the other band-aid. And she's like, where is it? And she's like, is it your other hand? And I'm like, oh my gosh, it healed. And she's like, how did you
Wow.
do that? And I was like, I don't know, but I'm so glad that you saw that and you witnessed what just happened because so often I'm the only one that sees it. And she was
Wow.
so shocked. And of course, we went in and were able to the sound bath. But it was just such an amazing experience to be able to be and have somebody else be in witness of where we're going. And did I do anything? Well, I asked, and then the technology released. And that's how we get to participate in our ascension is that we can have the awareness of, yes, I could have continue on this timeline of, well, now I have to go and maybe have to get stitches and I'm going to have to do this. And I'm not going to, I'm going to have blood running down my hand when I'm trying to do the sound bath. Or it could be, well, I know I'm more than I am. I know I have the ability to instantly heal. Show me. Activate my technology of instant healing. One is the skin, mend my skin, and it worked. And I didn't do it. It was what the technology that did it. And it was me prompting the technology that allowed it to happen. And this is what I'm so excited about bringing forth because when we start, it's one thing to have the experience of the technology on a conscious level, which is awesome. It is. I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do is activate the technology through consciousness. Whew. But when we start to activate it through the body, we start to really see the miracles of what's possible. And so that's what I think we'll do today is that I'm going to go in and tend to channel and we'll do the activation of one of the technologies today. And I think we'll go ahead and activate the skin technology. And so if you have something going on with your skin that you would like to heal or like to transcend, or maybe it's just that you want an eternal glow, right? Maybe you want your skin to start to move into that multidimensional aspect where it becomes more light than it is the material that we, and that is actually what our skin is supposed to be. I was shown this, and then I'll stop talking and we'll get to the activation. You can see I can talk all day. But one of the things that I was shown is that when our skin is on the linear timeline and it starts to get a little crepey and it loses its like collagen and elastin and all of that, that's because it's on the two-strand DNA timeline. But what is supposed to happen is that right around the age 25, when the brain has fully developed in the two-strand DNA system, is when we're actually supposed to shift and start ascending the body. That's when we start to go through the mapping system of the 12 strand DNA. And the skin, as it begins to connect into each of the maps of the each strand of DNA that activates after that, actually becomes more light. And so in this dimension, it gets thinner because it's connected to just two strands. But when it starts to hook into the ascension map, it actually becomes light, and we start to obviously more light, and because we are ascending the body, and the skin is the first part of us that we start to recognize that shift is because we start to hold more light and the skin is ascending. So I think it's kind of fun to think about. Okay. Well, let's do it. Do you have any questions at all that you want to ask Lauren before we start the activation?
I just want to say that is so fascinating. And one question that came up, and I believe you answered it. One question that came up is, how do you ask? And you
Yes.
just asked to be shown so we can, that's the that's the doorway, right? Asking. And there's something going on. You are not attached to the outcome. It's like you're, wow, I'm getting goosebumps. So something's
Mm,
happening because it's a frequency, right? We're letting frequency elevate, and that is what is unlocking the intelligence. Is that right?
yeah, so I call it prompting. So we can prompt, but we also do things like what we're doing today. Like we activate the technologies. And what's so cool about the activation of the technologies on a DNA level is that we kind of step out of the way. And so like, even having that thought of ask the technology to heal it, that just popped into my head. It wasn't like I was going searching for, oh, what do I do? It just came in. It said ask for it. I asked for it. I did what I was told, right? And so was it my consciousness that was at doing it, or was it the technology prompting my consciousness? It
Wow.
definitely was, right?
More
I got major
goosebumps,
chills.
more goosebumps. This is so inspiring. This is hopeful. So now we just want to experiment with it, you know. I know there's some people in the chat that are like, "Yes, yes, I want to work on this." So for all those who have something, we get to experience and experiment with this. And
Yeah.
it's a frequency. So when we get the chills, that is energy rising within us. That's a frequency lifting, whether it's our guides, I don't know, but there's something changing, something shifting. So
Mhm.
cool. All right.
Yes. I always call those the truth bumps. And it's the electricity too. It's our DNA turning on. It's saying, wake up, pay attention.
And yeah, I think it was your cells, the intelligence in your cells
Mhm.
activating your consciousness.
Yes.
It's like the what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Hmm.
And so all right. I'm thinking about any body pain, you know. Um, I want to just share as we do this too, that in our numerous conversations that we've had, Jules, it holds true with me. So maybe say, for example, doing some push-ups, and then I feel a little pain in my arm, in my shoulder,
Mhm.
and I'm like, ow. But I will do your advice, what we talk about here. And the next time I go to do 10 push-ups, that pain is gone. It's
Yeah.
like the work, the movement is actually removing the pain. Is
Mm,
that amazing? That's so amazing to me. All right. I know
yeah.
we can sit here and talk all day about all these wonderful stories, but let's continue. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yes, let's do it. All right. So the invitation is if you whatever you want to work on, it doesn't necessarily have to be the skin. So the first strand DNA technology, it's connected to, so another thing, if this is something that you're experiencing, and I know a lot of people are right now, just because there's a lot of kind of craziness happening in the world, is if you are in an emotional loop. And that's another amazing thing that the body technologies do, is because it's taking us out of the two-strand DNA system and into the 12-strand DNA system, is that we start to bypass those emotional loops or the programmed mind that keeps sucking us into uh, well, I don't think I have to tell you, because we all know what that feels like, to be in a loop, either emotionally, anxiety. So that's all, those are the different kind of intentions that you can have right now. And let me see if there's something else. Of course, if you want to work with the skin, I think those are good focuses. So we'll go ahead and go, and I'm just going to go ahead and go right into, so yes, it does include organ healing. And I wish I could remember which organ is connected to the first strand, and it's not coming to me right now. I think it might be, I think it's the kidneys, but I don't know if I'm right. But each strand is connected to an ascension of the organ, and it's connected to the behavior of the looping cycle. And just as we're on this, there's so much information in each of the strands of DNA, it would blow your mind. I mean, all the way to the the other technology that comes after ascending the body. When we start to ascend reality, we actually start to ascend particles outside of time. We release gravity. We release the laws like of the universe. Everything starts to go into an expressionist source, and that's when it gets really good. Not that this isn't, because it's super cool. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop talking. Let's go. All right, so go ahead and shut your eyes and just place your intention in your heart space. And then once you have the intention there, just let it go. And know that the technology that is activating is going to do this for you. All you have to do is experience it. All you have to do is open yourself up to the miracles of what you already are. All right, I'm going to go on it. This is the Astroluma. Activation first strand DNA technology. First strand DNA technology. Ascension of primal connection. Primal programming. We invite you to bring your attention to the center of the physical brain, into pineal gland. 12-strand DNA system. We will first prep 12-strand DNA system. Activation, quantum mechanic, allowing body to hold vibration 12-strand DNA system. Presh tkum prusha takashin tkos reshe takambre shataka tush kitin. Activation control Q-trit. Spin state. As control Q-trit spins within pineal gland. Pulling in subconscious and consciousness. Spin technology activation. Preparation of body. Coding system allowing particles of body. Moving into wave state. Control Q-trit activation wave state. Breshin tom kurshoshtukam bre shatakasa kushtukum. Reshetakam drash. Wave state activation 0 point. Transmission stabilization for body 963 frequency. Source intelligence. Allowing body. Hold intelligence. Source intelligence. Bushke sorosh kuntushke ti. Activation, control Qtrit. Wave state stabilization. Body is now prepared. We will activate a first strand DNA technology. First strand DNA technology. Releasing frequency, ascending, primal behavior, primal looping cycles, life and death cycle, ascension skin, ascension, attachment to 3D reality. We will first transmit a frequency beyond our words. This technology has the ability to work with consciousness, releasing attachment, suffering, lack. Breshe Komprushti, transmission beginning now. Transmission connecting atom response, gamma light wave. Connection, gamma light wave, frequency. Connection, electrons of body, holding stabilization of technology. Technology connecting to consciousness, transmission into consciousness. This will be beyond our words. Activation, magnetics, magnetic reversal. We will now put the body in a spin state beyond gravity for just a moment. You may or may not feel this. In this shift of gravity, the technology will be fully activated and connected to consciousness. We will begin gravitational shift now. Full activation in transmission. Technology is now activated. Stabilized within particles. Stabilized. Conscious connection. We will now show you how to use technology. When you are ready to experience technology, we'll simply bring an intention into pineal gland. Activate the intention, control Qtrit. You simply allow a frequency to release from pineal gland, holding intention. Technology activate. Allowing the frequency of technology to move through intention. We are doing this with you now. You will feel that your consciousness will begin to relax, almost as if a light wave is moving through consciousness, moving through the body. The technology is shifting the particles of the body to be rearranged, reorganized within the frequency of source through technology. This is part of how this first strand technology works, shifting particles of body, allowing them to move into wave state to be restructured and reorganized. When working, with technology. It is important to allow the technology to dictate your consciousness, staying open and aware. We will transmit the understanding of allowing technology to run consciousness now. Transmission beginning. It will be beyond our words. Transmission. Transmission through neural pathways. Transmission through nervous system. Ascension of nervous system into technology. Connection of consciousness. Stabilized. Fully activated. The most important thing is to have fun. Enjoy ascension is a process. It is a gift. It is a blessing. We send you much love and appreciation as you journey through the 12-strand DNA system. All right. So that was a little bit of what that is like. And now the really exciting part is that, first of all, I just want to invite everybody to feel what your body feels like and to recognize the feeling of what it feels like, because this is what you'll remember when the technology starts to run, is it kind of activates that frequency inside of you, and it feels yummy, it feels good, and it feels clean. But most of all, stay open and curious. So don't go searching for the program from what you just released, but stay open to allowing it to show you what the technology is capable of doing. All right. So if you didn't feel anything, Maya, that's okay. Not everybody feels, and I think that's also just important, is that not all of us are going to have the same experience. The most important thing is to allow your consciousness to stay open. And I know we've done this in the past, Lauren, of kind of showing how to use consciousness in a space of openness. And I feel like maybe we do that really quickly just so that people have the understanding of how you're going to use your consciousness moving forward with the technology. And it's such an easy thing to do, but it's also really life-changing when you know where to use consciousness. So I'm just going to invite everybody to shut your eyes for just a moment and imagine a sunflower. And now, of course, all our bodies are super activated, but as you're imagining the sunflower, what I want you to pay attention to is what it feels like in your body to imagine a sunflower, but also the energy that it takes, or the way that your consciousness is being used to hold the image of the sunflower. Just kind of notice what it feels like, what your body feels like. Okay, and then I want you to open your eyes and shake it out. Now I want you to shut your eyes again. And we're going to ask that the 12-strand DNA system, source intelligence, to show you a sunflower. So now you're putting your consciousness in that state of allowing, even sensing. It's almost as if you were, I don't want to say waiting, but you're in that state of just allowing. Just say, show me a sunflower. And then I want you to recognize what your body feels like. And even more so, noticing if you can bring your consciousness into a state where it is open and allowing and curious versus imagining or trying to make something happen. And that is where we want to hold our consciousness, is in that state. of allowing. And then just as you're ready, you can open your eyes, but I can say that most people in the first one, it takes energy to imagine. It takes energy. The body feels a little more dense. And the second one, you actually feel expanded. And it's like almost as if the body is doing it for you. That's where we're moving. That's where we're evolving to. All right. Well, I know we're going to kind of get to a place where we're running out of time. Lauren, did you have something that you would like to kind of go in the direction now?
First of all, that was really just an amazing experience. That transmission from Astra Luma
Mhm.
was really incredible.
Thank
Wow. I mean, after I just felt like I was a helium balloon, just like we. And the experience with the sunflower, because we were so activated, it was like, wow,
you.
I saw it. Yes, and so yeah. But then when the 12 strand DNA and we were asking to be shown, I was the sunflower.
Yes.
I was the sunflower. My body was the sunflower. And I just find that amazing. So, this is all really important work. And I think you gave us a really beautiful example today of just exactly the type of work that you do. And
Mhm.
so now we have something special that we're going to present to everyone. This is a program that we are so excited about. This is seminal work of Jules. It is DMT Ascension, and this is a journey. So we're going to activate well, it's called DMT Body Ascension, and it's over 12 weeks.
Yes.
Now, that may seem like a lot, but I can tell you, when you are done with this, you will feel like we just did a 15-minute transmission today. Imagine in depth, taking that deep dive. So I've dropped a link in the box. And thank you, Neil. Neil says, I love DMT Body Ascension. It's a 12-week journey and it's at an incredible rate. It's, like $50 a class, less than. So it's really a beautiful program. And Jules, can you share with us, will we be active? Will we be moving into the 12 strand DNA? Activate.
Yes. Yeah, so the way it's set up is that every week we will activate the technology of each strand and ascend the body. So we'll go into the ascension of each part of the of what the technology is doing. And of course, then there's all the different things that you experience with that. So it is a module class that you go in that kind of entertains the part of our mind that wants to understand. And we have some different things that you actually do to start to turn on the higher operating system. And some of them are, it can be just the way that we're using our body and how to recognize when we are stuck in a two-strand DNA system and how to shift it into the 12-strand DNA system through the experience of our body. So some of those could be if like you wake up in the morning, you had 2 hours of sleep, and oh, I'm going to be so tired. And we just limited ourselves. It's like, well, what to do in that moment to actually turn on the 12 strand DNA system where you don't actually need sleep in order. Your body actually releases its own frequency to where you're in energy beyond what we would need through sleep and sun and food, and all of those are looping cycles that we're going to be shifting out of. And it doesn't mean that they're wrong and bad. It just means that that's not the experience that we're going to be bringing in as we move into the higher dimensions of what our body is capable of doing. And we get to have those experiences as the technologies run through our body. So it's going to be 12 weeks. Each week we activate one of the technologies. By the end of this, you will not be the same person. But what I'm really passionate about and where I'm really curious is that I've taught this class in the past, but I've never taught it with Astrolema. Astrolema is never, I didn't even know the technologies were part of this. So I'm really excited to step into this class because I can already have seen what is possible. But what's even more exciting is that when two or more gather, it gets stronger. And so I'm just so curious to see what we'll be able to do as a group as we activate the technologies.
So powerful, and we're really excited for this. And so, yes, everything is recorded. We know that 12 weeks could be interesting. People are like, oh, but I'm traveling or doing something like
Mhm.
this. And that's what makes this so beautiful because everything's recorded and everything is digital. So you can tune in, you can re-watch it, you can reactivate. If you can't watch it live, you can watch the replay, and it's all really good. And I wanted to say, I am for quick action. I just updated. We're going to include the interdimensional and galactic training package for the first 10 purchases. And I may just expand it to the first 20 purchases, but this is another beautiful program that you can use as well. It's got lots of things in there and it's designed to just give you some extra interdimensional and galactic training so that you can step into your role as well. So, wow. Can you share about each of the sessions? How long are they about?
Yeah, they're go. I always say an hour and 15 minutes, but they're really an hour. But I always like to people to have that extra 15 minutes in case we go over. But so the way that I have it set up is that you go through the module so that you have kind of an understanding of what's being worked on. And then we'll go in and we talk about what it was like to have the technology activated because really crazy and amazing things happen, and it's always fun to talk about what happens. And then we go into the transmission, and then we do Q&A and specific transitions with Astroluma. So that if you have something specific that you're working on and need an extra boost or a transmission, that they can do that. And it is really exciting the things that they're able to activate on a DNA level. And so that's kind of the way that it's set up. And of course, it'll be really to, I don't want to say challenge your perception of the body, but it kind of is. It's getting the you out of the limitation of what you think your body is and putting it into the expansion of what it is on a 12 strand DNA system. And that can be mind blowing in all the right ways.
We love mind blowing. We really, really do. All right. Wonderful. This is, again, this is revolutionary. This is changing our world, and you have always been so on top of it. I really do appreciate the research, the information, the intelligence, the wisdom, your divine connection. And this is what's for all of us. So that's really beautiful. Does anyone have any questions? Let us know. Are there any questions? I think this works. Um, this, I mean, look at Jules, look at you and how you have changed. And actually, I remember a while ago, I wanted to, I was like, oh, I want to get a facelift or whatever. But I don't think that's even necessary with this sort of work. I think we are lighting up from within. You are bringing online our light bodies. We are becoming light as we move into the 12-strand DNA system. Do you think that it's a time process that it goes through? So it's a slow shift? I know you talked a little bit about this earlier, like, so maybe in 10 years we really will be fully online like that. Um, but it's happening, and this is actually our acceleration of it, kind of
It
giving it
is
a push.
accelerated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be different for everyone. And the thing that Astroluma has said multiple times is if we turned on our 12 strand DNA system and it was fully active and those technologies were fully running, we would go insane because what we're capable of doing is so beyond our understanding that we wouldn't be able to handle it. I mean, and part of what they're showing is literally particle shifting. And I mean, we're talking teleportation, we're talking instant healing, we're talking shifting from a man to a woman to a whatever. Like it's and being able to astral travel, like all of those things, but not in the way that we think that that is. It's the way that it actually is. And so what we can perceive or what we can imagine is still limited in what we actually are. And they've brought me to the very edge of bringing my consciousness to show me what we are. And it's always like my mind just melts. And I feel like I'm literally going to die because it's just so much. And I don't know if I can handle what they're showing. And so there is a process of doing it a little bit at a time because it is a blessing and it is a gift and it is a technology. And if our consciousness is trying to do it, it's going to just distort it. So we have to organically let the technology start to show us what we are. And it takes time. And so, depending on how much we can let go of our attachment to what we think and how it should be, and all of the different storylines, and just let it show us, that's going to be different for everyone.
That sounds so wonderful and allowing. And just don't forget to ask everyone, right? And just to ask to be shown. Asked to be shown the 963 frequency, asked to be shown. So wonderful. Okay. Thank you for this. We are so excited. And again, everyone, we want this to be part of your life. And we know that it may be a struggle or a challenge. So we want to make this easy for you. There is a 3 payment plan set up. So that makes it affordable for you. If that helps you, we hope it does. And you can find that right on the page on the link for you. And there you go. It's easy to join. It's going to be a beautiful experience. You're going to feel like a newborn human, superhuman, accelerated human at the end of these 12 weeks.
Mhm.
Wow. I am just very excited again, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Yeah.
Thank you, Lauren. And thank you so much for just holding this beautiful space. It's always just so much, gosh, just so much joy just being hanging out with you.
Yeah, hanging out with you. I am, it's just so fun, and what a great way to spend this equinox. This is a day of balance, like later, late tonight, I think in the wee hours of the morning, it's that balance. And
Mm,
so what does that mean? That balance even within us, we can feel it.
yeah.
And for something that we did today, this this is you when you did the primal, like I've been following world events, but now I'm just like F it. Not not giving up, but really paying more attention to this frequency, the body technology, paying more attention to that than anything outside of us at this point. I think that on a human level, it's really important, and it's where we will find our peace. And
Mhm.
there's so much coming out in the world now about this information. There's experiences more and more by people. They're out there. We're seeing them. And what you're doing, everyone going through this will have their own experience, and this experience becomes our truth. So
Mhm.
again, thank you for this. Thank you everyone for joining us. The replay is on the link in your box as well, in your chat box. Watch it again, watch that activation again. And again, if you sign up, we have a very special gift for you, the intergalactics and train and the interdimensional and galactic training package as a special bonus. So we hope that you are excited on this journey and ready to accelerate your ascension. Jules, as we say goodbye, I just want to give you a moment for your love thoughts.
That was it. That said it all. No, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for just spending this time with me and Lauren. And if you're feeling in your heart that this is a journey you would like to take, it would be such an honor to walk it with you. And that's really the way I see this journey going, is that we are just mind blown every week as these technologies turn on. That will be the first time that the technologies have been turned on in this way. And so it's always just as exciting for me. And it really is. It's a journey of exploring what we're capable of when we let these technologies turn on. And I keep seeing this, I just have to share this. I keep seeing these images of people connecting. So I don't know if there's some healers or people on that are kind of in that path that are listening, but really up leveling and stepping into not only healing your own body, but others. So I just had to share that because it's coming in. And but the technologies aren't just for us, they're for others as well. And so it'll be fun to see what happens there.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again. And thank you everyone for joining us. I got a note that the payment plan link wasn't working. I put that in the chat. And actually, if you look in the product description, right in the top part of the page, you'll see need a 2 or 3 payment plan. There's another link in there. And I hope that you guys can find that. Otherwise, I did drop it in the chat box again. So that's there for you. And we're looking forward for everyone joining us. Email me if anybody has any trouble. Thank you all for being here. We can feel our energy and our love. And as it radiates out to the world, all is well. We have this inner peace, and it's so exciting. Thank you, Jules.
Thank you, Lauren. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Namaste. Bye-bye.